This is the Stingray Show, and coming up on this edition, we are going to be joined by an outfielder who played at Mississippi State from 2018 through 2021 and became a part of Mississippi State's first national championship team in 2021. He was also the SEC Player of the Year in 2021. Tanner Allen will join us on this edition of the Stingray Show to talk about his career and winning the national championship in baseball at Mississippi State right now on the Stingray Show.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Those of you on Tide 100.9, look out. You're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
And with that, I want to welcome you inside yet another edition of the Stingray Show. Heath, we have a big time player in the history of Mississippi State baseball joining us today, who is a part of Mississippi State's first competitive national championship, and that was in baseball in 2021, Mr. Tanner Allen.
Yeah, TA, so many questions I'm going to ask him, but, COVID kind of wrecked 2020 as we all remember and hated. Yeah. And, if they had a full season, TA might have been back in 2021. They had a shortened draft, and he came back. And right. So going to ask him about that, but look what happened when he came back. A national championship.
So, Heath, before we bring him in, I did a little digging on TA. He played in 210 games at Mississippi State and had 281 hits. Of those 281 hits, he brought in 182 runs batted in. Please help us welcome to the Stingray Show the national champion from Mississippi State himself, the outfielder, Tanner Allen. Tanner, how are things with you, and what does it mean to you to be named national champion from Mississippi State?
What's up, guys? First off, thank you for letting me come hang out with y'all tonight, and we're going to have a blast. But, man, it means the world to me. Ever since I was a little kid, I've worked really hard in my baseball career. And, whenever you work really hard at something and you finally see some success, man, it's very, very special. So I was really, really proud of that. And it just wasn't me. We had a whole team full of great players, really good guys, and guys that were determined. And when you have a group like that, it's the sky's the limit. And it happened for us that year, so we were really excited.
TA, before we get to the 2021 season, let's do a little background. Who was your first favorite baseball player growing up? And when did you start playing? When did you start learning that you were good at baseball?
So, ironically enough, I started playing golf before I played baseball.
Okay.
And I swung a golf club left-handed for about, I don't know, I was like 3 or 4 years old. Then I picked up a baseball bat, and the rest is history. But my favorite player growing up and watching was Chipper Jones by far. I can remember coming home after school and doing homework and turning the Braves game on. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm going to be Chipper Jones one day. That's what I'm going to be. I want to have crazy trainers my walkout. I love hunting and fishing. He loves it too. We're basically the same person.
And hey, you got a little love from Chipper. They're on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days. But you got a little love from Chipper. Did he ever reach out? Did you ever get to meet?
I haven't got to meet him yet. He did tweet about me, and that was really cool. And I feel like if I really wanted to go, try to meet him, I got a few connections that I can probably make that happen. But I know he's very busy, and I'm very busy, And but I'd love to meet him one day. He was my childhood hero, man. He really inspired me to become the player I became.
I hear you. We'll chase this rabbit real quick. Chipper here recently came out and said that, his son is not going to play baseball every weekend. They're going to take a family vacation. He's not going to practice 4 days a week. He's not going to do this. Now, Chipper's in a different situation. I'm sure he's sending his kids to schools that I can't afford. But with that being said, you start to hear a lot of the Hall of Famers and the old guys of Major League Baseball saying, this shouldn't be an everyday thing. This shouldn't be an every weekend thing. And yet, the competitive travel ball, select ball, elite ball, whatever you want to call it these days, parents and coaches are sitting there saying, no, we got to do this every weekend. We got to do it. And I'm like, and I'm kind of in the middle. I was like, you might got to do it more than what the Hall of Famers did, but you don't have to do as much as these guys are saying. You're a young guy.
When I have a son, he's gonna be doing the same thing Chipper's talking about. He ain't playing every weekend. See, these parents don't understand how the system works. The system is designed to put money in their pockets to make you feel like you got to play every single weekend, or if you're not, you're missing out on everything. I'm sorry to tell you this, but there is not one single benefit for Johnny going to college or figuring out where to go to college when he's 8 years old playing a travel ball tournament. Okay, nobody's there to watch him. Nobody cares, right? The only thing that it's doing is fueling a dad's ego, and he's going to live through his son because he probably didn't have the same experience when he was that age, right? And I think it's absolute asinine to make an 8-year-old kid play every single weekend throughout the summer. Like Chipper said, man, my kid, he's going to be going to the beach. He's going to be going hunting and fishing. We're going to be hanging out. Now, will he train baseball if he loves it? 100%. But there's a difference between going in the backyard and working with dad on some certain things for an hour versus spending $4,000 a weekend to travel all of America for no reason.
Yes.
Amen.
There's a difference.
Tanner, I might ask that like 12 more times in the show so you can repeat it and someone will actually hear it.
Well, look, guys, I'm in the business right now. What I do is I love developing young baseball players, and I'm working with a lot of guys transferring from high school to college. And man, the number one thing I tell them is like, you got to find something else to do. You know what I mean? You can't let baseball just nonstop eat you alive, eat you alive, eat you alive. Because here's the brutal reality. I've worked with some young men that were 9, 10 years old, and their parents are playing every single weekend, spending all this money. And by the time they get to be a junior or a sophomore in high school, they don't want to play anymore because they're burnt out.
Yeah.
Guys, when I was coming up, we didn't have travel ball every weekend. We played at the park. I played park league baseball, played one time a week, practiced one time a week. And then at the end of park league, we had all-stars, okay? And then we'd play all-stars. We practiced. Now, all-stars was a little grind. We practiced every day, but we played for 3 weeks.
Right.
We won the state tournament of whatever our district was or whatever our league was. And then, as soon as that was over with, I picked up football and started playing football. And here's the thing what I've noticed throughout my career. I actually got off the phone with a football coach the other day who had one of his prized possession players quit football to focus on baseball. And I told him, I said, listen, you need to play football because football makes you a better baseball player. And he's like, what if I get hurt? No, you're not going to get hurt. If you go into football thinking you're going to get hurt, you'll get hurt. But if you go play football the right way and get after it and learn how to be on a team, work out, get bigger and stronger, and get gritty, man, that's the biggest difference. Like all the guys I've played with, I can tell you firsthand by just playing with them. Yep, that guy played football. Nope, he didn't. I can tell you the difference. It creates a aggressive mindset, and that's what you got to have when you play baseball.
So, Tanner, hold that thought. We are up against our first break, and when we come back, we are going to dive into your high school days and your recruitment to Mississippi State. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show. We will be right back with Tanner Allen. Welcome back inside the Stingray Show. Our guest this evening is former Mississippi State national champion Tanner Allen, who played outfield for Mississippi State. And Tanner, you grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and in high school you played baseball and football. What position did you play in football, and what made you decide ultimately to give up football for baseball?
All right, so that's a good question. I grew up in Alabama, hunting fish my whole life anyways, but I played baseball and football my whole life. And in football, I played quarterback. I was starting quarterback for 3 years. And I loved every second of it, man. I would give anything to go back to play high school football. Loved it, right? And I even had a few people offer me out of high school and be like, hey, look, you can come. I want you to come play baseball, but we're going to let you play football as well. So I had a few people do that, but here's the number one story I got for you that made me decide, hey, man, I'm a baseball player. One night we were playing our high school rival, and I was running a zone read, and I pulled it, and I was running around the corner, and the defensive end like got my feet and spun me into a linebacker who was going Division One. I think he was going Arkansas State, Arkansas, and he knocked me completely unconscious. I had a seizure on the field.
Oh,
Okay.
whoa.
I'll never forget when I woke up. I was like, kind of out of it. Had no idea where I was. Next day, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, that was only one Division One football player on the field. Imagine a team full of them, 11 players on the field. That good. Yep, I'm gonna play baseball.
Right.
Those guys are huge, man. So that was an easy decision for me. I mean, Mississippi State, we're not, very great at football by any means. I mean, we compete, but our guys are massive. I used to walk around and hang out with them all the time. They're good players. I'm like, man. Then you go watch Alabama come to the stadium or come to Davis Wade. I'm like, look how big those guys are. Yep, easy decision. I'm playing baseball.
Yeah.
What are some of the colleges that offered you for football?
So the main one was Sanford out of Birmingham. They were like, look, we want you to come play baseball, and we're gonna give you a chance to play football as well. That was the main one.
Wow.
And of course, yeah, it was really neat, man. Really neat.
It was Pat Sullivan still coaching then?
I can't even remember. I do believe it was him.
Wow, a Heisman Trophy winner came and tried to bring you to Sanford. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Tanner, looking back at everything and choosing, what made you choose Mississippi State?
Here's the cool story about that. Here's the cool story with that. I was actually committed to LSU throughout my high school career. Decommitted from LSU, assigned with Mississippi State the day before I was supposed to sign with LSU. And the main reason was Andy Cannizaro. He recruited me the hardest, gave me the best scholarship offer, told me I was going to play from day one at LSU. He gets the head coach job at Mississippi State. Calls me and says, hey, same deal. Easy decision.
Yes.
Hardest phone call I've ever made, but easy decision.
So, Tanner, coming out of high school, you were drafted in the 2017 draft of Major League Baseball by the Chicago Cubs, but you didn't sign. Walk us through that process of being drafted as a high school player, and then what made you decide to not sign with Chicago and go play college baseball?
Yeah, man. So before we get started on this topic, I want to let y'all in on something I'm about to start doing. And I'm about to start mentoring young men who want to get recruited and who are getting recruited to learn how to answer the questions from the coaches, how to get seen, and how to end up at your dream school. So I'm starting to do that. So I'm really enjoying this question. But for me, I've always wanted to play college baseball. I knew I would love to play in front of big schools, in front of big crowds. I thrive in the big moment, right? And honestly, I got drafted that late, and I was like, man, there's no way in the world I'm about to miss out on Mississippi State over being drafted this late when I know for a fact I will go there and get to be a better player, develop, learn how to be around an organized system, organized team,
Right.
And just develop to my full potential, So that was a no-brainer. That was why I did it. And of course, I figured I was worth more than what they'd offer me. You know what I mean? I'm basically was betting on myself. Now,
Right.
if your dream is to play professional baseball, if you want to go do it, go do it. If you get drafted that late and you want to sign, go do it. But if I was drafted in the first through fourth round and I got offered life-changing money, yeah, you can't turn that down, right? You can't, because I've known guys that turned it down, went to college and didn't pan out, and now they missed out on an unbelievable opportunity. Follow me? Seen it happen way too many times. But for me, I wanted to see what college was like, and I'm glad I did.
Right.
And you say that with a smile on your face.
Right.
Tanner, my son wanted to ask this question. He's 14 years old. And I took him to Omaha when you guys made that run in 2021. And he said he wanted to know what your mindset was like in Omaha and as the week kept building. And, you lose that game against Texas, and then you come back, and then you lose that first game against Vanderbilt in the championship. And he wanted to know what your mindset was like all week in Omaha after the losses, after the wins. And I've been fortunate enough to be a coach to, help my daughter win a state championship and a World Series championship in softball. And when we won our championship, I was still kind of hungry. I was wondering what's next. And it took a while for that to set in for me. But was that the same thing for you when you won a championship? Was it like
100%.
Wow.
100%.
Okay.
I'll never forget after we won it, it was a big party going on. We dogpiled and all that stuff. And I'm like, who we got next, But
Right.
it was over. But here's the thing. Here's the mindset you got to have. And I tell people this all the time. Whether you have a good night or you have a bad night, it's all about the next night. So our mindset was, as soon as Texas beat us, it's like, that's over with. Let's look forward to the next day. Because you can't be on your high horse too high, and you can't
Right.
be too low. That's like I always said, never too high, never too low. We're always really even keel, and we're always moving forward. As in, if you have a bad at bat and you strike out, it's the next at bat. If you make an error, it's the next at bat. If you walk a batter, it's the next pitch, right? And if you lose a game late because they made a play and you didn't, it's the next game. If you lose game one of the national championship series and you feel like you got the wind sucked out of you, you go home, you regroup, and you attack the next day with some momentum.
Yeah.
And game two, we come out and stomp Vanderbilt, right? Because that was our mindset. It's all even keel. You cannot get too low. You cannot get too high. Because just when you think you're doing really bad, you're not doing as bad as you think you are. And just when you think you're doing really good, you're not doing quite as good as you think you are either.
Yeah.
It's all even keel, neutral mind. And that is something that we were able to adapt in 21. And man, it changed our year because we got
Yeah.
knocked in the mouth so many times. Missouri came to Duty Noble and beat us at the end of the year. Got 10-run rule back-to-back days in the SEC tournament. Come home after that. It was all neutral, though. Everybody was freaking out. We weren't freaking out. Are you kidding me? Neutral. Don't
I
care.
wanted to follow that up
I
real
promise
quick.
you that was our attitude. We get beat, don't care. Next game. We knew we were good. But baseball's a hard sport. You're not going to have it every single day. Things
Right.
aren't always going to go your way. It's not about yesterday. It's about today. And when you have that mindset, man, it keeps everything so simple.
Yes.
Wow. In game 3 of the College World Series, you lost the first one to Vandy. You came back that second one. Facing Kumar, what was your plate approach? What was the team's plate approach that night? Because Kumar had you guys' number. Kumar had everyone's number. Let's face it. He was one of the best pitchers in college baseball history. But what was your plate approach coming against Kumar? Because he ran out of gas, and then you guys just ran him out of the stadium.
Well, first, hats off to Kumar, man. He's a really good pitcher. Very
Amazing.
talented. He's still pitching. I think he's in the big leagues.
He
If
is.
not, he deserves it, man. Really talented pitcher. But that night, it was almost like Bulldogs were wore out. Vanderbilt just got handed the walk to the national championship by
Yeah, they did.
NC State getting disqualified. We just ran through a fire to get there. We're wore out. We're beat up. Our pitchers are tired. Our hitters, position players, wore out. I remember I got hit by a pitch after I hit the homer against Virginia. I can barely lift my right shoulder. I'm playing on Toradol and trying to get my shoulder right so I can throw a baseball from the outfield. Everybody's beat up, right? We're just dragging each other to the finish line, right? And then you look across the field and Vanderbilt's fresh as a daisy. Been sitting on the hind end for 3 days. Got both their best pitchers waiting on us.
Yep.
And I remember in the meeting, I was like, "Look, we wouldn't have this any other way. This is Mississippi State as it gets. We're wore out, beat up, and Vanderbilt's fresh as they get. We're about to go over there and just give them all they want." And our approach against Kumar in Game 3 was, "Hey, we got to get the slider up for one. And we got to get to the bullpen. If we make him throw a slider for a strike and be on the fastball, we'll be just fine." And I remember my first at bat, he struck me out on a slider that was a foot inside. I could have hung Perry Costello, but I understand not everybody's perfect, so I let it slide. But man, Rowdy set the tone. First pitch of the game, bam,
Yep.
base hit right field. I'm like, here it goes. But we were able to get to him, man, and honestly, as soon as we got the bullpen, we knew the game was over. We got this. We got to get him out the game though.
Wow.
So, Tanner, hold that thought. We are up against another break, and when we come back, we are going to go back to your first start at Mississippi State in 2018. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show. We will be right back with Tanner Allen. Hey Tuscaloosa, it's time to start planning your incredible weekend at Iron City Comic Con. Guests will include Sean Ashton from The Goonies and Lord of the Rings, Matthew Lewis from Harry Potter, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants, and for any of you wrestling fans out there, Jake the Snake Roberts, Lex Luger, and Devon Dudley. They all will be at Iron City Comic Con, and Iron City Comic Con is May 31st through June the 1st at the BJCC. For more information, look up them on Facebook at the Iron City Comic Con and grab your tickets today. Welcome back inside the Stingray Show. Our guest this evening is former national champion of Mississippi State, Tanner Allen. And Tanner, let's go back to the 2018 season, taking the field for the first time against Southern Miss in a Mississippi State uniform. What was that like for you?
It was very nerve-wracking, to say the least, because I feel like a year before that, I was playing in front of 50 people in a high school game. Now I'm playing in front of a sold-out rivalry game in front of Southern Miss, and I'm playing third base. But I'll never forget, man, walking in the dugout, and Coach had texted me the night before and being like, "Hey, look, you're starting tomorrow. Just going to get your head right." I'm like, wow. But reality kind of kicked in when I walked in the dugout and looked at the lineup card on there and I saw my name. I'm like, it's really about to happen. But then again, I had been practicing so hard. I prepared my whole life for it. It's like, hey, man, I've worked so hard for this moment. I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And I faced a guy named Nick Sandlin, and he played in the big leagues, and he was disgusting. I almost hit him, took him deep my first at bat. Guy called it on a warning. Guy called it on a warning track. But man, it was truly something special. It really was playing in a hostile environment. I kind of had to grow up real quick, because there was guys on the team like Jake Mangum, Hunter Stovall, Elijah McNamee, Connor Pilkington. All these guys had experience, and their expectation was to win. You know what I mean? So there's no way I'm going to be the reason we lose. So it's time for me to grow up quick and bring my A game.
So Tanner, a quick follow-up to that. In that series, game number 2, you got your first hit of your career. Walk us through the first hit as you remember it for your Mississippi State Bulldogs.
I believe it was a line drive to left field. It might have been a double to right center, actually. That's fine. My memory leaves me, guys. That's probably my biggest insecurity is my memory. But I do believe it was a double to right center field. And I thought it was going to leave the ballpark, but it didn't. But I didn't care. I got the first one out the way. I remember Candy coming up to me. He's like, "Hey, you got the first one. Let's roll now." And it's funny. You can ask any hitter or any pitcher, when you come in the game, you got to throw that first strike, then you're ready to go. You got to see that first pitch, then you're ready to go. For me, I was like, I got to get this first hit to get that monkey off my back, and then I'll be ready to go. But it was a really neat moment, man. It was a really neat moment. It was all surreal. And in the grand scheme of things, everybody that plays baseball at a high level will tell you this. It's all the same game. It's all the same game. It's just sped up a little bit more and the players are better, but it's all the same game.
Tanner, what was the biggest jump for you? What your biggest adjustment from high school to college? It's different for every guy, but what was it for you that you struggled with the most?
Struggle with the most, like just in the game wise or off the field?
In the game.
For me, what I struggled with the most in the game would be the left-handed pitching when I first got to Mississippi State.
Okay.
Because left-handed pitchers are really, really good in the SEC. They don't like most lefties I faced in high school are like 83 miles an hour, right? These lefties are throwing 95. So I really had to focus on my left-on-left approach a lot, and I got really good at it. And I ended up being able to dominate lefties by the time I left Mississippi State.
Right.
Even in my sophomore year, I remember my sophomore year, I got a big hit in Omaha against a lefty versus Louisville. Fast forward, like 2 months later, I'm playing for Dan McDonald with Team USA. Okay, and he was head coach of Louisville at the time. And we're in a big situation, and they bring a lefty in, and he pitch hits me against the lefty. He's like, "I saw what you did, Omaha. Go hit this lefty." And I got a hit off of him.
Right.
But that was the number one thing, man. Learning how to hit the left-handers because they got really good sliders, they got really good fastballs, and the pitching, of course, it's a big difference in high school. You got guys throwing 82 miles an hour, and you go up to the SEC, everybody throws 95. So
yes,
you
got to be a little bit more locked in.
What was the biggest adjustment off the field?
Biggest adjustment off the field. I was at college without my parents. I was on my own, so I kind of make my own decisions. So I had to learn how to be responsible and manage my time the correct way, I guess you could say. That was probably the hardest thing for me.
So Tanner, after the first few games of the 2018 season, Mississippi State abruptly made a coaching change and fired Andy Cannizaro. What was your initial reaction when you heard the news, and how difficult was it to navigate the season without your head coach?
Yeah, my first reaction was I can't believe they just fired him, of course, but the mission's still the mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like our coach is gone. Well, I guess the season's over. No, we got to keep playing.
Right.
And in a way, that drew us closer together, and we came together as a team, and we ended in Omaha that year. Kind of like what's happening this year with these guys. They just lost
Yep.
their head coach, but they're starting to play their really good baseball because they're learning. Hey, look, we're not supposed to even be here. We hadn't had a good year. We just lost our coach. Nobody believes in us. It's just us out here playing. What we got to lose? Let's go play hard. That's what they're doing. And look what happened. They just swept Kentucky and just beat Ole Miss, right? And they got Missouri this weekend. So that for me was, of course, was disappointing because he was the whole reason I came to Mississippi State. But God works in mysterious ways, man.
Yeah, he does.
He works in mysterious ways. I was one night away from going to LSU. He waited to the last second and said, "Hey, you're going to go here to Starkville, Mississippi." And I ended up going to Omaha 3 times. And those 3 times I was in Omaha, I don't think LSU was there one time.
You know, you guys had Uncle Gary fill in as interim head coach.
Love
and,
Gary.
And who doesn't? And Gary Henderson, everyone seems to love him. Any kind of interaction, or I've worked with him or against him, they all say great things about him. But what was it like when he filled in? And did he say anything that just really sparked you guys? Was there anything different? Or was it just you guys just leaning on each other? What was that atmosphere like?
Well, it was very simple. Things didn't change. Hindu was in control of the pitchers, and Goat was in control of the hitters. And we just went that way. And Hindu kind of brought us together. It's like, look, guys, the season ain't over. Let's lock in on what we got to do. What we got to do is prepare to be the best players we can be to help Mississippi State baseball win. And that is what we did. And he was always positive. This is one thing I love about Hindu. Hindu was always positive. I don't care we just got beat by 10 runs. We get beat by 10 or get swept by somebody we didn't need to get swept by, or lose a series, and our exit meeting was like, well, boys, it didn't go our way today. Get ready to go Tuesday. It'd literally be that simple. And in a way, he was like, hey, look, I understand y'all have been through heck this year. You got beat up, lost your coach. We know what we got to do. Let's go do it.
Yes.
And it's that simple. Like, we had a pitchers meeting one time at LSU, and Connor Pilkington couldn't find the strike zone, walked a couple guys. And Hindu comes out to the mound. I'm playing first at the meeting, and Pilk's like, I got to stay on my backside a little bit longer, my arm side. I'm flying open, the ball's missing high. And Stovall, our second baseman, goes, well, by God, stay on your backside. Hindu goes, listen to Stovey, and then walk right off. Like, that was his mound visit. So I love Hindu, man.
So, Tanner, later that season in 2018, in a game versus Vanderbilt, you got your first career home run. Walk us through that hit as you remember it, please.
I'm pretty sure we were getting blowed out, and I was DHing that day. And I remember I had my last at bat, and we were getting blown out, and I walked up there to the plate, and I was like, man, there's no way this guy's throwing a fastball by me. See, these guys nowadays don't even understand the score's going to dictate how they pitch to you a lot of the times too. If they got a big lead, right? If they got a big lead, they're going to come at you straight at you with the fastballs, right? So I kind of use that as my advantage. And I just camped out on a fastball, and he threw me one in, and I dropped the barrel on it. Right when I hit it, I said, that's going to get out of here. Finally. And I'll never forget, Goat gave me a shout out after the game. He's like, man, we're getting our teeth kicked in, and TA's sitting in the dugout with his batting gloves on, my bat over my shoulder while we're on defense, ready to go for my next at bat. We said, we got to stay locked in throughout the game, guys. Locked in. And I was. Guys, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed being at Duty Noble every single day for practice and playing, man. It was the time of my life.
Tanner, you mentioned how much fun you had playing high school football. You were on so many great teams at Mississippi State that went to Omaha 3 times, as you mentioned, and also won the national title. What's the most fun you ever had playing any sport?
Most fun I've ever had was probably hitting a triple against Ole Miss, Game 3 in 21, rubbing it in their face. That was pretty fun. That was really fun. And don't get me wrong, guys. There's plenty of good folks at Ole Miss, Bianco, a whole bunch. Their players, awesome guys. But man, I've been in Swayze, and I've been called every other name you can ever think about. Okay, from their fans. So being able to have that moment and just enjoy, clearing the bases and hearing the crowd erupt, man, that was a cool one for me. That's probably the most fun I've had on the baseball field right there.
So, Tanner, we are up against yet another break, and when we come back, we are going to continue to talk about your career at Mississippi State and finish up the 2018 season with you guys going to Omaha. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Stingray Show. We will be right back. Welcome back inside of our final segment right here on the Stingray Show. Our guest this evening is Tanner Allen, the former Mississippi State national champion in baseball. And let's continue and finish up our interview with Tanner Allen. So, Tanner, later in the 2018 season, Mississippi State enters Hoover in the SEC tournament as a number 9 seed and faces off against number 8 LSU. Talk with us about what it is like playing in the SEC tournament for your very first time.
It's really cool, if you're that we were a low seed my freshman year, so they kind of put you in the outhouse. If you're a high seed, you stay in the very nice hotel with the connected to the mall. If you're the low seed, you're staying over here in a Motel 6 or Red Roof Inn, right? But we knew we had to handle business in the tournament that year because we were trying to just make the playoffs, right?
Right.
And I don't remember how exactly it went, but I think we did end up winning a couple games in the tournament. I can't remember. We might have got beat by LSU, but I went 4 times. They all kind of run together. But playing in the SEC tournament is really cool, man. Right when you get off the bus, all the fans are there, and we travel really good wherever we go, especially the Hoover.
Right.
So it was like basically a home game for us. But it's neat just being able to hang out in the hotel and see all the guys that you played against all year long. My sophomore year, me and Big Mule Brad Cummins, we were dominating the Big Buck Hunter in the players' lounge. We stayed on it, and nobody could beat us. So that was really cool.
So, is there any trash talking or any interaction with the other teams? I mean, is it just fun hanging out, or is it a little? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
See, for me, I'm not a big trash talk guy. I kind of just am brutally honest. Like if I say something that you think is trash talk, it's probably true. You know what I mean? And but no, for me, like they would try to trash. I get trash talked all the time, and I kind of just brush it off, or kind of just be sarcastic back. But not really. Outside the field, man, we all get along really well. All the guys do, and that was the most fun part for me. The SEC tournament, the camaraderie with all the other guys in SEC. Man, that is just so fun.
Right.
Be able to talk about, hey, what do you got? How's y'all's practice? What's y'all's coach like after y'all lose? Let me see your impersonation of y'all's coach. We got good ones on our team too. Stuff like that.
So, Tanner, Mississippi State's regional in 2018 was in Tallahassee, Florida, and Mississippi State lost game 1 to Oklahoma 20-10, but then battled back twice out of the losers bracket to advance to the Super Regionals. Talk about that first game versus Oklahoma and how difficult it was to battle back out of those losers brackets.
Yeah, man. Anytime you go to a regional and you hit the losers bracket to start off, it's a long road because you're gonna burn some pitching going through the losers bracket. But yeah, game 1, people don't realize Florida State is a bang box. You can clip one off into the bat and it's gonna leave the yard. If you hit it in the air, it's gonna leave. Right? We used to make fun of Jake. Jake hit a home run there. You know what I mean? But that regional, man, that was just our 18 team. We were just never out of the fight. We were never out. I mean, we came down to our last strike, and Elijah Mackney hits a 2-run, 3-run homer to send us to the next game and put Florida State out. And then we had to beat Oklahoma twice, and we did it. Man, that was our team. That was our team, man. We didn't care. We weren't pretty. We were just like, we're here to play baseball. I think we had 6 pitchers total on the team that were healthy, and we used every one of them about every game. It felt like, but those guys we're just everybody nowadays is caught up in looking pretty and getting on camera, doing all that. We weren't interested in any of that. We were interested in winning. That was it. It didn't matter. Like, and we didn't care if it was pretty or ugly, as long as there's a W on the board at the end of the day, and we keep playing. That's all we care about.
Yes.
You talk about, Elijah McNamee and Big Hit Mac had that towering shot. So sorry, Steven. I was fighting that. He had that towering shot. When he hit it, did you know right then? Because when I first saw it, I thought that ball barely made it out. But after I saw the replay, that thing wasn't close. That thing left the yard by a ton.
People always ask me, could you ever tell if the ball's going out the ball? Yes. You know how you tell? It gets small really quick. The ball gets small really fast. And that one got small really fast. And the funny thing about it for me, that day I had a terrible day at the plate. Drew Parrish shoved it up my rear end. I was like 0-4, 3 punch outs, right? And I'm sitting there on the top rail like, man, I've had a great freshman year. I hate it's going in this way. Boom! Whoa, homer. We're still playing. And this just happens that quick. Happens that quick, man. So we just were never out of a game that year. I like go to the Super Regional. Elijah McNamee again. It's like get Big Hit Mac to the plate. We're running scoring position in a big part of the game, and we'll be fine.
What was Big Hit Mac like after those games?
I'm gonna tell you right now, Elijah McNamee is probably top 3 best teammates I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
He is like me in this regard on the baseball field. I'm always positive, no matter what. Always looking positive. Always staying positive. I don't care if I'm 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. My 4th at bat, I'm walking to plate. I'm the man. Okay? And Big Hit Mac was always positive, always checking on your teammates, would do anything for you. Off the field, unbelievable guy. Man, he was a big reason of my success throughout my years at Mississippi State because I tried to do things his way, like he was doing.
Wow.
So Tanner, talk about that super regional that you guys played in Nashville, and talk about that out that basically put y'all into Omaha as you recorded the last out to take you to Omaha.
Yeah, man, it was I've never been gutted on a baseball field like that in my life. Was game 3 at Vanderbilt. I mean, it was like big hit after big hit. That we'd go ahead, they tied. It was like one after another, guys. Okay. And they hit me the high chopping ground ball and I caught it and I went to tag the guy and the ball shot right off the top of my glove and I thought I was gonna come out, but it stayed in there. And I'll never forget, once I tagged, I'm like, man, we're really going to Omaha. We're doing it. We're really about to go. We're really, like, I've watched Omaha growing up, but I'm about to go live it now. We're about to go do it. That was a really cool feeling. Really cool feeling.
You're talking about that last out. Where is that baseball?
I wish I'd have kept it. I didn't keep it. I threw it in the air like an idiot. It's probably somewhere at the baseball field. I threw it in the air like an idiot. My hitting coach, my baseball mentor, texted me at the game. He's like, I cannot believe you didn't put that ball in the back pocket. Unbelievable, man.
So Tanner, talk about the excitement of knowing that you're heading to Omaha and what it is like getting to Omaha and seeing everything for the first time as a college baseball player.
Yeah, man. Omaha is so super special, guys. You have no idea. It's like, yeah, the games are cool, but all the activities going on outside of the game are unbelievable. Like, I'll never forget opening ceremonies. You meeting up with all the guys you play, like you heard about, watching on TV, you played against some, and then you're walking through the town of Omaha to the stadium where the stadium slam packed, and they're recognizing all the teams, all the players, even having concerts on the field. Like you're going down the main highway or the main street going through Omaha, and there's people up high on the bars and on the city. It's like one huge parade, man. And that was every time we went. That was my favorite part of Omaha, besides of course winning, was doing the opening ceremonies. That was really, really, really cool. Really cool. They got the really cool candy store, the famous ice cream shop, the steakhouses, just camaraderie with family. Like if you're in the winner's bracket, you get a lot of time off. And I can remember like going to the zoo, hanging out with friends, man. It's like vacation. It is one of the best. It is, I promise you, if there's a young man, if you're listening to this, if you're having doubts on whether you should work hard at what you're doing and figure out your game, you don't know if you can do it, please work as hard as you can so you can go somewhere and have an opportunity to play there, because I promise you'll never forget about it.
Did you ever get tired of going to the zoo?
Never. Never. I went every year, multiple times. It's funny. People always ask, like, you went 3 times. I'm like, yeah, man, I got to notice things change throughout Omaha. I'm like, man, I remember last year, this was over here. This is over here. It's kind of a funny flex, I guess you could say.
That's great.
So, Tanner, talk about the run that you made in Omaha, coming up just short against Oregon State there in 2018.
Very tough run. We started out hot. We had won one game to play for a national championship. We just ran into a team that was just playing really, really good, and we fought them tooth and nail. But they came out on top, man. And in a way, you know, when I got beat, of course the seniors were upset, but for me, I was upset. But I was also like, man, we came up here. We got a lot of these guys coming back. We'll be able to do this again if we get locked in. And my mind immediately went to off-season mode. Got to go summer ball, get stronger, work on my game so I can help us come back here next year.
Wow.
It was like this. In my mind, it's like, this was so fun. There's no way in the world we're not coming back. There's no way we're coming back.
Yes.
You know, you talked about, you know, Elijah McNamee and the top 3 teammates of all time. Who are the other 2?
Jake Mangum and Rowdy Jordan and Big Mew for me. Dustin
Okay.
Skelton, folks like that. Hunter Stowell, man, I can name a list off. But Elijah McNamee, man, it didn't matter if he was having success or if he was failing. He was always positive and always picking everybody up, and I love that about him.
You know, let's stay on back for 1 second. You know, the guys at the SEC network talked about they didn't understand why this guy wasn't drafted. I didn't understand why he didn't get a bigger shot, but you know, he was injured most of his last season and never got that opportunity. And I still don't understand how such a clutch guy with power and such a positive attitude, as you talked about, a great teammate. You know, explain to us simpletons that aren't there on the cusp and playing at a high level of why Big Hit Mac didn't get that opportunity in pro ball.
Man, I think it was just broken foot. They didn't want to take a chance on somebody that's been hurt, and that's just how it is. I broke my
Wow.
hand. I broke my hand in 21 or in 20, and I missed out on the draft. They didn't draft me, and I hit
Yeah.
350 the year before. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
Now,
Wow.
Tanner, you were a part, and a lot of people probably don't know this, of something very unique in college baseball. To start the 2019 season, Mississippi State played in the Frisco Classic in Frisco, Texas, and the final game of that tournament was canceled versus Nebraska due to too cold.
Thank
Talk
God.
about how crazy that was to have a game canceled due to too cold.
Well, honestly, if you want my honest opinion on that, and my honest opinion is about to hit you in the face, but we were so happy. Thank God we ain't got to go out there and play in this crap. There's no way in the world we were going out there and doing that. I remember watching. I was sitting in the hotel with Rowdy, or actually, it was probably Big Mule at the time. Brad Cummins and Mike. Who would have called the game off? Thank God we sat in the hotel waiting on a plane though forever. It took us probably 5-6 hours to get in the air. But we were like, look, we got our game in. We've been playing out here. I'm not going to play out there in 20-degree weather. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Tanner, you talk about the coldest that you've ever played. What is the hottest you've
Florida
ever been
State
on a
regional
baseball field?
freshman year. It was so unbearably hot, man. I mean, I'm just sweating. But I had to went through like 3 hats.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was
Gee.
tough. Socks, cleat, I mean, man. Everybody was burning through socks. I remember that.
Wow.
So, Tanner, what are some more memorable moments for you from the regular season of 2019?
For me, in 2019, I hit a home run in the regional against Central Michigan. That was late in the game. That was pretty cool for me. I remember that one. That was pretty neat. And then I had a big hit against Louisville in Omaha late in the year. We're second, third against the lefty. I told you that I got off against Louisville. Hit a left-handed slider in the left center field gap, 2 RBI hit. That was pretty neat, man. So I had plenty of cool moments that year. But the thing about sticks out to me most about that year is I started off struggling, and Coach Lamonis didn't give up on me. He stayed with me. He came up to me and said, "Look, TA, you're my 3-hole. You're my first baseman. I'm staying with you. I believe in you." And he didn't have to do that. You know, and I know he got fired the other day, and everybody's turning their back on him and calling him out. But that man did not turn his back on me, so I can't turn my back on him.
Yes.
Wow.
So, Tanner, going into the SEC tournament in 2019, you guys made a little bit of a run, playing in 3 games, including LSU, in which you made Mississippi State history of having 8 at bats during that game.
I might have been 0 for 8. Can't remember.
Walk us through that run in the tournament and talk about your 8 at bats versus LSU.
Man, that was every year we went to the tournament, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. People probably gonna be so mad, but we didn't really care. We're like, all right, we're here, we're making an appearance, we're gonna play good, tune our game up, and go home. We got something, we're playing for something bigger than this,
Right.
you know. But yeah, that was a long game. I think it was 18, 19 innings. And it was like, and the worst part, this is what I remember about it, was the loser had to play at 10 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, and that alone was like, hey, look, guys, I don't care who's doing it, but we're winning this game. I don't care who's getting the hit, but we're going to win this game. And I don't remember how many hits I had that night. I think I had a couple, but I did have 8 at bats. I'll never forget. I faced Zach Hess, and I was swinging it good at the time. I was hitting like 350, guys. I was swinging it.
Yeah.
And I had a runner in scoring position, and he struck me out on a slide in the dirt, and I hadn't struck out in like, I can't remember how many at bats. I was so mad. I was so mad too, because I wanted to go home. You know, I'm like, hey, look, we played here long enough. Let's go. Let's get on. But yeah, man, that was a long. I think it was one of the longest games ever played SEC history.
Right.
You know, Tanner, a fun story. I remember I was coaching my oldest, my daughter at the time, and I was so mad that I wasn't going to be able to watch that game. And so we come home, eat dinner, shower up, and get her in bed. And I sat there. I was like, well, I'm going to at least watch the highlights. And then I was like, oh, they're still playing. Let's see what it was. And then I didn't get any sleep that night because I stayed up and watched the entire thing. And then when the game was over, I couldn't go to sleep. I was so excited.
Yep.
Wow. So for you guys, and I tell people this all the time because, look, I'll turn 50 this year. I remember what it was like to be in my early 20s. You only need a couple hours of sleep, 2-3 hours of sleep. You can keep rolling and make it happen.
Hey, man, in 21, I'm going to be honest with you. You heard Johnny Manziel said, win or lose, we booze. Well, if we won, we were having fun. And I can't tell you how many games that we rolled into SEC big time weekend. We rolled into 3 hours of sleep and just roll out there and play. But we could do it. You know, everybody. I'm not hiding that from anybody. Everybody knows we were doing it. I was getting blew up on Twitter about it nonstop. You need to get your head out of your rear end, TA, and get in the batting cage. I'm like, I'm hitting 411 right now. I think I'm doing okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You were.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, we had a lot of fun, but we were very responsible about it. Like, for instance, if you're going to be a man at night, you better be the man the next morning too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of that going on.
So Tanner, Mississippi State made it to Omaha in 2019, but unfortunately went 1-2. Talk about going 1-2 your second time in Omaha.
Wind sucked right out of us, man. We felt like that was the best team I've ever been a part of, and we got beat. And that one hurt the most because we were losing everybody. We're losing a lot of good guys, man. And I never forget sitting there at first base after we just got walked off, and I'm like, man, this one hurt because I figured this was going to be the year we were going to do it.
Right.
You know? But then again, I was like, I got it. We're coming back. There's no way you're going to keep me out of this place again. We're going to come back. There's no way. There's no way. And that kind of mindset, when you truly believe you're going to do it, when you truly believe it, when you're bought in beginning of the year already talking about we're going to be in Omaha, who's going to be with us, and we believe it, oh, yeah, you'll get there.
Yes.
Wow.
But if anybody can sense that fake energy, oh, yeah, we're going to see y'all in Omaha later. No. Ask anybody. They talk to me, Rowdy, Brad Cummins, any of us. No, we're going to be there. We'll be there. I know we will. Because if I got anything to do with it, we're going to be there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Tanner, I want to ask you, you're kind of the old guy now around the program. Who's the old guy, the guy that had huge success or played in MLB ball for a while or whatever? They used to come back to state and kind of tell you guys how it was or how it needs to be or what you need to do.
Man, Jake Mangum,
one of
the main guys I think about. He would always come back, and then Will Clark and Rafi Palmeiro, people like that would come back and hang out and come down to BP and just talk with us and stuff. So those guys were really, really special, man. People always talk about our team in 21 winning national championship. And TA, what a great job you did leading it. And I tell people this all the time, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, was everything I learned was from guys before me. The Mississippi State way. Rafi Palmera, Will Clark. I know I didn't get to see them play, but I hung around them. I know how they thought about what they thought of the program, what they expected.
Mhm.
Jake Mangum, Wes Ray, Hunter Stovall, Elijah McNamee, all those guys, like they molded me into the player I was in 21 to help lead us to the national championship, So it just wasn't us. Oh, our team was so much better than everybody else. We did it. No, we learned from everybody beforehand. You can have a great team, but you still need some luck, and we had some luck that year.
Is the transfer portal killing that?
100%. Don't get me started on transfer portal. We'll be here all night.
So, Tanner, the following season in 2020, Mississippi State finished that season 12-4, the 4 being shut down due to COVID. But there was one game in particular where you had a diving catch against Long Beach State in Long Beach, California. Walk us through that catch as you remember it, please.
Man, yeah, I dove for the ball in right field, caught it, and broke my left hand.
Oh!
Yep, and that's what happened. That's what I remember about it. I got up, and I was like, dang, I jammed my hand. I looked around and said, I jammed my middle finger real bad. It hurts. Got to the dugout. That inning, we were down a run or two, and that inning is a big inning. We start rallying, and I'm on deck. Jordan Westberg's at the plate, and I can't get my batting glove on my left hand. It's swelled up so bad.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, man. He struck out, and we went back on to defense, and Rowdy threw me a ball, and I caught it, and I was like, man, something ain't right. And I walked to the dugout, put somebody else in, flew home, had an x-ray the next day, hand was broke, had surgery the next day in 2 days. Yep.
Does it still bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I do have 7 screws right here, though. Right there. Yep, that's what happened.
Wow.
To go off at the airport?
It hadn't. No, sir.
So, Tanner, the final game of that season was against Texas Tech in Biloxi. What was your initial reaction to the season getting canceled for the entire 2020 season?
Because you guys just got hot.
Yeah, we just got hot. We were playing really good, and Coach, of course, let me travel everywhere, even though I had a cast on my left hand, and it's basically be with the team. But what I remember is, we were just getting hot. We just beat them, and we got Arkansas coming to the dude. We're about to hit our stride. I'll be back in 3 weeks. So I'm working on getting my therapy, what I can do. I'm like, I got to get back and help these guys. We're getting hot, and then the rug just swept right out from under our feet. But I remember, I'm like, man, the main reason I got surgery was so I could be back in 3 weeks to play against Kentucky. Now the season's canceled. I didn't need surgery. I don't need these screws. That's the number one thing that came to my head. I was like, man, this is unbelievable. Right. But as soon as the season got canceled, me and Mew headed straight to the beach because, the country's like, everybody got to social distance. I'm like, yeah, I'll be social distancing on a boat fishing somewhere. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. All right, that's fine with me. Don't bother me. Right. One bit, right? And I remember we left and Coach called us like, where y'all at? We got a team meeting. I'm like, Coach, I'm almost to the beach. Almost to the beach. I'm like, you told us to go home. I didn't think y'all was going to leave that quick. You don't understand, Coach. You told me I could go home and go to the beach. I'm going. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, well, look, y'all stay by your phone. Be careful. But yeah, man, it was wild. It was like as soon as they said College World Series is getting canceled, I'm like, I want to come back. Yeah, I'm only redshirt this year. I'm not playing for nothing. Right. And it was almost like 30-minute increments. All right, World Series canceled. Then they got regionals canceled, Super Regionals canceled, SEC tournaments canceled. Then they're like, all right, we're not playing this weekend. Everybody go home. It was wild. It was wild, man. But I love COVID.
What did you guys do other than fish? What did you guys do during that off time?
Well, I'm just going to be honest. I have no idea what everybody else was doing. They were probably being responsible and still trying to train baseball. And don't get me wrong, I was doing it too. But me and Mew was fishing. If it was slick, we were going fishing. If it wasn't raining at night, we were going to catch bullfrogs. And we were on the beach. The beach was wide open, nonstop. All down throughout the beach. We lived at the beach. Now, were we training baseball? Yeah, we were. We'd still work out and hit and everything. But, there's no summer ball. Nothing's going on. I still had therapy. Main reason I was panicking about, everything you shut down. I'm like, hey, I got to get this hand in shape. Of course, I watched the draft. I don't get drafted. I'm like, I know I'm going back to Mississippi State. I got to get this hand in shape as quick as I can. So that was probably my main goal right there. But it really helped me when I was fighting them fish. You know what I mean? It's just a good exercise for it. That's what Coach used to call me. Coach called me, and I posted a picture on social media holding a big amberjack up. And everybody's like, the hand looks good. The hand looks good. Coach called me. He's like, I guess your hand's okay. You going fishing. When are you hitting? I'm like, hold on now. We're going to ease into hitting. I promise you, I ain't going to lose my swing. I've had it my whole life. So, but yeah, man, we were outdoors, not sitting inside, hiding from some. I'm sitting there thinking, like, if this virus kills me, I'm an unbelievable in shape 21-year-old kid. If it kills me, everybody's screwed. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know what I mean? So, it really didn't change much for me.
So, Tanner, to start the national championship season, Mississippi State opens the season in Arlington, Texas, in a tournament. What was that experience like of opening the season at a neutral site in a tournament?
Very neat, man, because they actually allowed a lot of attendance at the game, so we had a lot of people there. And what people probably remember about that weekend is how cold it was and how much snow hit the ground. And we actually delayed a flight. I believe we left a day late to go up there. But it was just one big mess. My family got stranded on the highway because of winter storm. Like, it was one big mess. But we played really good ball. I think we went 2-1. We should have swept, but that's just how the game goes. I remember having a really good feeling coming back to Starkville. Like, hey, look, that was a solid weekend. Those guys were good, and we played with every one of them. We should have beat all of them, actually. But that's just how the game goes.
So, Tanner, what are some more memorable moments of that season in 2021, the regular season portion?
The regular season, of course, the triple against Ole Miss, and then I had a walk-off home run against Texas A&M. I had a walk-off double against Tulane. I think the one against Tulane really sticks out to me because I had a rough day the whole day. I was like 0-4, 3 punch-outs. I might have been 0-3 with 3 punch-outs. They needed me in my last AB, and I came through. And I'll never forget after that day, like, nobody remembers the strikeouts. Everybody remembers the big hit, right? So taking my mindset moving forward was like, if I struck out early in the game or got out early in the game in a big situation, I still got a chance late in the game to win the game. And that bled over into A&M because we were playing A&M early in the game, bases loaded, and it was just after I hit the triple against Ole Miss. So I come to play, everybody's going crazy, right? And a guy struck me out. And it got the wind stuck right out of the stadium. I remember walking out to the outfield, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have another opportunity to this. Just keep playing good defense. You're going to have another opportunity. I remember the first pitch of the 11th inning, I hit the right center field bleachers for a home run to win the game, send everybody home. But that was kind of our mindset, That was our mindset that year. Just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. But, yeah, those are some really memorable – man, I got some memorable moments on and off the field. I promise you they are this long of that year, buddy. Plenty of them.
Yes.
But those are some that really stick out to me.
Tanner, let's be honest. That team, 2019, so talented. 2020, you guys were just getting hot. But 2021, a great team. But do you think the 2019 team could have beaten the 2021 team?
9 out of 10 times.
I agree with you.
So, Tanner, talk about sweeping the 21 Starkville Regional, please.
There were some good teams in that regional. And I'm going to say this about every regional and every super I've played in at Duty Noble. The fan support is unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
If we could host a regional or super regional, I promise you, our chances of going to the next round or going to Omaha increase significantly because just like this crowd, the crowd willed us to win. Now, did we ever doubt that we were going to lose or doubt that we were going to win? No. We felt like we were going to win every game. I don't care what the score was and what it was like. Every team I was a part of, we felt like we were never out of. It's like as soon as we got down, it's like, all right, the work starts now. Let's get back in it.
Right.
And our thing was, especially in the regionals, man, we get this crowd going. The other team ain't never played in front of something like this.
Right.
We do it all the time. So that regional was really, really fun, man. And I just remember the last ball that got hit off Landon Sims was absolutely blasted right at Lane Forsythe. Thank goodness he made the play because we were only down by 1. Or they were down by 1. And I was like, whoo, there it is. We're going to the super. And then you go to the supers, man. Supers, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame deserved to be in Omaha because that was the national championship series right there. Those guys were good, buddy. Those guys were really good.
I cannot remember the guy's name for Notre Dame. The big guy.
Nico Cavadas.
Yes,
I remember he was running his mouth before the series started about how they were going to be used to the crowd or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, you ain't never played in front of 15,000 people, I promise you. And I remember as soon as he got here, we got him good day one. I mean, everybody was letting him have it, but he hit a ball in game 3. He hit a home run off Landon Sims. I promise you, it's still going.
I was about to say that ball hasn't landed yet.
It had a stewardess on it. I promise you. Okay. It hit it, and I looked at Rowdy and was like, oh my gosh. And I vividly have this picture in my mind. I turn around, and I remember a frat dude reaching out the back of the student section trying to catch it as it leaves the stadium. It was a bomb, man. But
Have
at
you
the
ever
time,
seen
I
a
think
ball
we're
hit
about
further than that?
no.
I haven't either.
Before they changed the balls, like in 21, if you hit one in the student section, buddy, you crank one. Okay,
Mhm.
that was a good swing. That's like nobody ever went that deep. Like even at BP, like man, that was a bomb. That guy just cleared the stadium. And like the other night, our leadoff guy cleared the stadium. Like, yeah, the balls have changed. Are you kidding me? Nico Cavadas, if he hit the ball the same way he hit it in 21 in today's game and today's balls, he'd hit it over the scoreboard.
Mm.
I promise you, man.
Mm.
So, Tanner, in Omaha in 21, you guys had to come out of the losers bracket twice. Once against Texas and then again against Vandy. Talk about how difficult that was in Omaha in 21.
It's very difficult. You know, in Omaha, of course, you want to win the first 2 games.
Yeah.
If you can win the first 2 games, I believe you have 2 days off or 1 day off. If you win, you get a day off. You win again, you get another day off. Or you might get 2. I can't remember. But you got to stay winning because you get rest, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing in Omaha, people don't realize the rain is a big factor too because your game can get canceled and you get another day's rest. But playing in that losers bracket, I mean, it wasn't even really a loser, but we were in the winners bracket. We just lost the game and forced a game 2, right? Which was really, really tough because the loss against Texas, Ivan Melendez hit the home run late and just stuck a knife in us. You know, but like I said, I've told people all the time, we didn't care in 21. It did not bother us and phase us one time. We still got to the yard the next day and was bringing the same energy, preparing the same way, playing hard, and convinced ourselves that if the game gets late, we got enough people here that wear the maroon and white. It'll get loud, and the other team will crumble under pressure, and we'll win the game. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to do it, and we believed it, and that's what happened. Tanner Leggett comes up there, big hits the hanging slider, left center field gap, bang. Go play Vanderbilt game 1. They throw a dagger right in our heart and stomp us, right? And I remember leaving, the field. I'm like, hey, look, we've been here all year long, baby. This ain't nothing new for us. This ain't nothing back against the wall. We wouldn't want it any other way.
Right.
Any other way. Game 2, come out and jump right on them and spanked them. I remember leaving the field. I was like, we left them a little something to look forward to tomorrow as well with that win.
Yeah. So, Tanner, talk about the excitement of playing in the College World Series finals, and especially that final game that won you the national championship and Mississippi State's first ever national title.
Yeah, man, it was very, very exciting. Of course, there was a bunch of hype around it. We got a day off to relax and rest, and man, the media really, really picked up everything, and it was really surreal and cool. Because the coolest part for me was having that one day to be like, "Hey, look, we're about to go play in National Championship Series. I'm gonna enjoy this day." I think I went back to the zoo, honestly. And I remember tweeting out in my head, bring calling all rednecks, come on to Omaha, we need you. And there was somebody tweeted back, it's like, hey, whoever leaves the start with last, turn the light off. So that was really neat for me. But man, as soon as like you wake up on that day, it's like, all right, it's time, it's go time. Like this is the day. You go to breakfast, see everybody there, everybody's got a smile on their face. I'm like, yep, we're ready to roll. And it's just game 1 didn't happen, man. And you wake up game 2 and we're like, same attitude. We beat them game 2. In game 3, you wake up that day, you go to breakfast, and you see everybody's just such a good mood. And we go into our pregame meeting, Coach Lamonis and hitters and all that, before we go down the bus. And Coach is up there getting real emotional. He's like, man, I've enjoyed all this whole year with you guys. We're playing in the last game of the year. Win or lose, I want y'all to know I'm very proud of you. You played really hard. You earned your way here. And he's getting real sentimental. And as he's getting sentimental, he starts crying. I remember Riley's like, Coach, you're crying. You know what I mean? And right when he does that, one of our iconic rap songs plays in the background. It's a highlight film, comes on the board of our whole trip throughout the year. And I'll never forget, man, we could have conquered Rome that day. We were so fired up. Okay? I'm talking fired up. There was so much positive energy. And then you get in the game, and it's just like, hey, look, it's just another game. We got to focus on what we got to do. We got to score more runs than another team. That's the number one thing to do, right? And then you work your way from that mindset. And that's what we did.
Tanner, looking back at that final game, game 3, there in Omaha against Vanderbilt in the National Championship Series, there was a time for me personally when Kellum Clark came up to the plate, and I won't say he was the 7-hole hitter during that game. He might have been 8-hole hitter, but I won't say he was a 7-hole hitter. And I remember just sitting there thinking, if he can just get on base, plunk him, get a walk, get a cheap little hit, chink a ball in the outfield, a Baltimore chop, whatever, just to get him on, just so we can get back to the top of the lineup. Or he gets an extra base hit here, we are really comfortable, but almost putting this game away. And then he went yard. and as a state fan, as a state grad, that was the first time as I sat there in section 111, row 11, seat 1, and I was like, this is happening. I looked at my son, and I just shouted. I was like, this is going to happen. This is happening. And I felt then that nothing was going to stop you guys. But for you, when did you know that it was going to happen?
Like I said earlier, I looked behind me and saw Landon Sims coming out of the bullpen with a 9-run lead or 8-run lead. And I remember he passed me. I said, have fun, baby. Just have fun and enjoy it. And
what did he say back?
He didn't say nothing. He kept going. He was locked in. But that's when I knew. But it was a real moment, man. In the 9th inning, got 2 outs. The whole place is screaming maroon and white. Everybody's on their feet going crazy. People crying in the outfield. And you get that final out. It's like, we did it.
Right.
All that work throughout the fall and the spring, being up early, working out, going through hell nonstop, being at the field 8 hours a day, then having to deal with school and manage time, all the workouts, all the practice, all the long bus rides and long nights on the road, grinding through the SEC, getting swept, all that paid off. All of it. There's no better feeling. There's no better feeling.
Tanner, I've got to ask you, though, how frustrating is it for you personally that you guys won the national title and then your arch rivals do it right back to back?
I got no problem with them because you know why? They just trying to do what we did. That's the way I tell them all the time. I'm like, y'all just trying to copy us. I don't care. Like, congratulations. That's awesome, man. Awesome. Like, I don't know why you think I'm mad or you're trying to rub that in my. You're an Ole Miss fan coming to rub your national championship in my face after I did it a year before y'all. I got my ring before y'all, dog. It's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tanner, where is your ring right now?
At home in a safe with all my rings, man. I got plenty of. I got some. You know, all my rings I got at state. I think I got 4 of them. And I got a few state championship rings in football and baseball.
So, Tanner, I've got 3 questions left for you. The first one, which game that you played in at Mississippi State means the most to you personally and why?
Beating Ole Miss in 21 the last game. It's just different, man. You know, I know I strongly dislike that university, I guess you could say. The people. Let me make sure and word this the right way because I'm not trying to pick any enemies, but it's a rivalry, right?
Yes.
Right.
It's a rivalry. And if we take it personal to beat them, we take it real personal. You know what I mean? Because if we don't, we're going to hear about it. We're going to hear about it. So being able to beat them, we beat these 2 out of my whole career, man. I think I'm like 14-2 against them, something like that, maybe 14-3. But beating them the last year, that one was sweet. That one was really sweet. In front of a sold-out crowd, big crowd. That one right there, that one meant the most.
Yes.
Tanner, I was listening. I'm here in the Memphis, Tennessee area, and Rebel Yell Hotline came on the radio, and I have not listened to that show in years, maybe close to a decade. But I just so happened I was leaving the airport, coming back home today, and I heard Rebel Yell Hotline, and the thing they said was, for some odd reason, Mississippi State has had our number over the last decade. And they hoot and hollered the entire segment at how they just don't know why, how they can't shake it. And how does Mississippi State on a diving play get a double play? In the very next inning, we boot a routine ground ball and can't get the double play, and it cost us the last game. And so it was funny to listen to. But that game this past weekend really rattled them. You've been part of this rivalry. You just talked about your record in this rivalry. What is it with you guys owning that series against your rival?
I think as a part of it is that they think they're better than us because they got more money than us. And that's just coming from me. That's just coming from what we think in the dugout. I mean, we're Mississippi State. We ring cowbells at the game. You know what I mean? That's Ole Miss. They wear penny loafers everywhere they go. They got $250,000 in outfielder routes there. Like we don't have anything. You know what I mean? So we take that personal. We take that personal. It kind of fuels us. You know what I mean? And like I say all the time, man, there's some unbelievable Ole Miss folks. Look, 90% of the folks I've ran into that have Ole Miss stuff on have been nothing but amazing to me. So it's nothing against them. It's just the overall idea and what the university, the way we see it from where we're from. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like that is that is one personal reason. It's like every time we play Vanderbilt, right? Before NIL started, we used to hate Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt, all their guys on 100% scholarship.
Right.
We don't get that. Like we're gonna take that person. We're gonna beat these guys. You know what I mean? But it's just it's different, man.
Right.
You go play a game in Swayze, and you'll understand why it's so competitive. Go watch a game over there at the Vaughn, whatever they call it, Hemingway.
Yeah,
Go watch a football game over there. I went over there a football game this past year. Was on the sideline. I've never been cussed out so much in my life, and I didn't play at Mississippi State for 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
You know, TA, you talked about 90% of the Ole Miss fans have been nothing but great to you. What about that other 10%?
Yeah, man. There's like I said, the other 10% was in the student section. I walked by on the football stadium last year or this past year. I don't know why they hate me so much. I mean, clearly, is it cool just to pick on me? All I did was dominate y'all all year. I wouldn't say a word to somebody that owned me. You know what I mean? I don't think I lost a governor's cup. I lost one game. They beat us twice. I think
Wow.
twice. One in freshman year. We swept them my sophomore year. And they beat us one my junior year, my last year at state.
Right.
I think it's 3. We stomped them, dude.
Wow.
So, Tanner, talk about what it is like to be drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, and what are some of your highlights during your time with the Marlins organization, please?
Yeah, man, it was really cool getting drafted. Childhood dream. Pro ball is very tough, guys. It is very tough. It's not made for everybody, and I was not. I was one of those people because I don't like being away from home really a long ways, and I like competitive baseball. I don't like business ball. Business ball drove me crazy and it ate me alive. But I did have fun, and I did enjoy the guys I played with the Marlins. There were some guys that I still talk to this day, every single day, and some of my highlight moments, I hit a home run off Ben Joyce last year. That was pretty cool. I hit a home run off Jackson Mizorowski, #1 prospect for the Brewers. I took all those guys deep. And like I tell people all the time, I know it was really cool if I faced him again. He'd probably make like Helen Keller at a pinata party, but that's okay. I got him that one time. You know what I mean? So that was
Right.
just some highlights. But I enjoyed my time, man, especially at Pensacola. In Pensacola, if I could sign a contract to play at Pensacola for 10 years, all you got to do is give me $500,000 a year. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I love Pensacola. I go to the beach before the game, and there's big crowds, and our manager Kevin Randall, we call him Smoke. He wanted to play to win, and everything was competitive, man. So I loved everything about Pensacola. It's like I told him the day they cut me loose, the day they told me, "Say, hey, TA, man, we love you, dude. We just got to move on. Hey, man, no hard feelings." You know that day I called or texted Smoke, said, "Dude, I want you to know I've had fun on a baseball field my entire life, but this year and 21 with the Mississippi State are my two favorite years. Thank you so much."
Right.
You know, so that was a blast, man.
You know, you talked about professional ball being business ball. What is the difference, the competitive ball and business ball?
Competitive ball, the best players play no matter what's going on. And business ball, Johnny might be playing every day, but he's not performing. We got a lot of money into him. He's not coming out the lineup. I don't care who you are. If we're playing to win, if you're not performing, you're on the bench. You follow me?
Yep.
And I can't do that, man. I sat there and led that team in hitting for half the year or the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden a trade goes down and I get put on the bench. And the guys, I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. But that's part of it, man. That's part of it. And look, I don't have any regrets. I don't miss pro ball one bit. Everybody's like, TA, you should try it again. Look, man, I had my run with it. It's okay. God got me out of it for a reason. I prayed the beginning of last year. I praised the Lord. This ain't for me. Take me out of it. 3-4 months later, see ya. No questions. No hard feelings. I don't care. Like everybody's like, man, TA didn't work out. I don't care.
Oh no! Somebody called him.
Let's hope it's a phone call and his phone didn't go dead.
Tanner.
How about now?
Yeah.
All
Dude,
right.
I've had this guy call me. Oh my gosh, my phone just rang. That's what happened.
Hey,
All right, guys, we're good.
Dude, I promise this won't be much longer, okay?
Yeah.
We're good.
So, Tanner, this has been an absolute blast. We have thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you. My final question is, please give us your favorite Andy Cannizaro story and your favorite Chris Lamona story that you can share with us.
Oh, that's gonna be good. Andy Cannizaro. Andy Cannizaro. Freshman year, I'm going to study hall. And I get my work done early in the morning. So I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap in the study hall room. Well, I wake up to a group message from Canny. Hey, TA, man. I'm glad you got your work done, but look like you're a little tired. Look like you need something to do. You might be bored. How about come over to the baseball facility, and I appreciate you washing all the golf carts. All right, I'm a freshman. Rowdy texted me right after that, said, and I want them squeaky clean. Good one. And let me think on Coach Lim, man. I got so many with Coach Lamonis. So many. I guess my favorite story with Coach was when I went into his office and I thought he was going to be the meeting of him telling me he's going to have to put me on the bench. And I went in there and I sat down and he said, TA, I know you're struggling right now and everybody thinks I need to put you on the bench. But you're my 3-hole and you're my first baseman. I believe in you. I got your back. I'm going to ride with you to the end. Now go get it figured out. And at the time I was hitting probably 220. I finished the year 350 All-American. He believed in me and he had my back. So I can never not have his. That's why everybody's like, TA, are you oblivious to what's going on? I'm like, no, I'm very unbelievably, abnormally positive about every situation in my life.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Okay? You can be negative all you want, but all I know is this right here. If we get beat tomorrow, you'll bash me on Twitter. If we win the next day, you'll praise me on Twitter. I could care less. Your opinion means nothing to me because it's not consistent.
So, Tanner, how far do you think this version of Mississippi State can go without their head man, Chris Lamonis?
That's a very good question, man. The way they're playing right now, don't be surprised they make a deep run at this thing.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna jinx anybody, but don't be surprised.
Okay.
Tanner, a couple of questions, and you said some things that made me add some questions to it. Coach Lamonis, back in 2021, I have never seen a manager make every right decision all season long, especially in the postseason. And he did some things like, I don't know if I'd have done that. And it worked every time. And I was just like, man, this guy's a genius. And of course, no one bats 1,000. No one gets it right every time. But it just seems like the last couple of years, he stayed true to himself. He stayed true to what he thought was the best and what was the right thing. And a lot of those things backfired on him. What do you think happened during that? Because you would know more than anybody.
When you make a decision in a game about what moves to make, what guy to bring in, what guy to pitch hit, it's because you believe in your players, right?
Right.
It's like, I'm going to pitch hit this guy because I believe in you. You can get it done. Now, a lot of those decisions he made, with the guys he went with, you think they believed in themselves? Most of the time, they might not have, right? And I feel like that year, and our year in 21, I think that the identity of our team was, you can beat us up all you want, but we're coming back. We believe in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tanner Liggett getting the hit in the walk sent us to the national championship, right? He said in his interview, most folks are scared of that moment. I've been dreaming of that moment. That's the kind of players we got to have. You know what I mean? It's about, of course, it's about moves, but it's more about knowing your player and knowing if they got it in them or not. You know? And I think that dictates the move for me. That's like, think about, because I've been in the dugout with him, you know, and I've thought about moves I would have made and what he's doing and everything. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, you know, have I questioned some moves? Of course, everybody has. I guarantee assistant coaches have, you know. But he's the head man. He's the leader of the ship. His decision. We're gonna roll with it. Now, is he gonna hear my opinion on it? 100%. But at the end of the day, if we lose the game, the L goes under his name, not mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's his decision. So I just believe here lately, we haven't had the guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking our players. They are really
Right. I know what
talented.
you're
They are
saying.
very good talented, and they have been playing really well in the last few years. We've had some really good guys, but we haven't had those guys in a big situation where you're 100% positive and confident this guy's got it in him. I
Yeah.
know he's got it in him, right? I know he does. Connor Heisek, oh yeah, he had it in him. Dog, right? Big time moment. I want him at the plate. Landon Sims, big time moment on the mound. Landon bullpen now. Go. You know what I mean? We just got to find those guys. We got to believe in them. And I tell guys all the time, you know, in baseball, you got to be arrogant sometimes. You got to be confident, because if you don't believe in yourself, what makes you think the skipper's going to believe in you?
Right.
You know? So I feel like making decisions in a game in a tight moment is a lot harder than people think it is. But when you prepare for them, it's a lot easier, and you prepare for them by knowing the identity of your guys that play for you. You know what I mean? Is this guy going to be able to handle the big moment? Well, he's a freshman. I think he's got really good stuff. He's got electric stuff, but is he going to be able to handle this crowd in a big moment with the pressure on him? You know what I mean? Or am I going to go with the guy that may be a junior? His stuff might not be as electric, but I know he's got heart, and I know he can perform in front of a crowd. He'll get these guys out. He's gritty. Houston Harding. Why is a lefty that throws 88 miles an hour in our rotation? Because he can compete, and he's a dog.
Yes.
That's why.
Did you ever make fun of him doing that fan thing that he did when he wound up? That used to make me laugh. It didn't drive me crazy, but it made
I
me
love
laugh.
Hootie, man. Hootie's an unbelievable teammate.
Did you ever, rag him a little bit about doing his little fan?
I ragged him a little bit. He would do that, and he would lean back on the mound a little bit, like he's straddling the mound. I'm like, man, whatever you got to do it.
Tanner, I'll save that. I'll save the fun questions for very last. There's a coaching change. I heard a rumor about you. Feel free to squash it or commend it, but say that we need some more pickup trucks in the parking lot and not cars as far as our players. What does this team need? But better yet, what does this team need in its next coach? You can say names, you can leave names out, you can talk characteristics, but
Yeah, man,
what
this is
does
what
Mississippi
this is
State
what
need?
I think. You know, I sent that tweet out, and I wasn't attacking our guys by any means. I was just basically saying the overall general idea and identity of Mississippi State baseball is roughneck baseball players. You know, dirt bags. And I feel like today's baseball players, no matter where you go, it's everything's so flashy and so pretty, and I got to wear all this crazy stuff so I can get a cool picture and be on a cool reel, cool double celebration. No, Mississippi State baseball is guys that slide in the third, you know, come up going crazy looking at the dugout and dirt all over them, and just, you know, doing anything they can to win. They don't care about none of this other extra bull crap. And I feel like it starts from the top. Now, did Lim have gritty players? Oh, yeah, he did. But he's gone. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love you, coach, but, like, he's gone, and he knows that. I talked to him the other day for an hour. He knows it. So as we're moving forward, we got to find a guy that brings the old school mentality back, knows the culture of Mississippi State baseball, knows the tradition, that will get on your rear end when you don't play right, or will bring the best out of it, or challenge you, you know. And that's what I want to see. That is my 10 cents on it. That's, you know, and if you want my personal opinion, I mean, I don't think we should look for a coach north of Tennessee, to be honest, for me. It needs to come from down here. Down here. That's just my opinion.
If you're Zach Selman, who you calling?
If I'm Zach Selman,
Yeah.
Who am I calling? That's a very good question. I'm calling Lane Burroughs La Tech.
Okay.
That's who I'm calling
Okay.
because I've played with guys that played for Lane Burroughs. I've not heard one bad thing. I've heard many stories about him. I've talked to him. I've heard him on the phone. I've seen his teams. I've played against his teams. And I know he loves the game. And I know he doesn't put up with any bull crap. He's all about winning. And I love that about him. He's old school too. He is, in my opinion, he's a country version of Tony Vitello. You know, and I like that. I think Lane Burroughs fits the mold of a Mississippi State baseball coach perfectly. Hard nosed, not going to take any crap from anybody, expects the best, runs a tight ship, and is going to win at all costs. That's what I like.
Tanner, I'm going to leave on some fun questions.
Cool.
What was your favorite regional away from Duty Noble?
Well, I only went to one. That was Tallahassee.
Okay. So that
That was
automatically wins.
Yep.
And so it's super regional.
I only went to one away from Duty. That was Vanderbilt.
There you go. Which
was
one
fun.
was better, Tallahassee or Vanderbilt?
Tallahassee.
Okay. What was your favorite regional at the Dude?
Favorite regional at the Dude? Probably 2019 because I hit a big-time homer. That was fun.
Okay.
Favorite super? I'll go ahead and answer that one. Notre Dame. That one was really fun.
Okay. And with all of that, if you could put a dream team and play one more time, give us, you don't have to give me a batting order, but give me a starting lineup.
All right. Go around the positions. I'll tell you who I got.
All right. Let's start at first.
First base. These guys I played with are past Mississippi State players.
Guys you played with.
Guys I played with. First base. At first base.
Actually, you know what? Let's do just Mississippi State in general. I think people want to hear that.
All right, I'm gonna go Rafi Palmeiro at first.
Okay. Who you got at second?
Hunter Stovall.
Okay. All right. That shocked me a little bit. Who you got at third? Or yeah, go third.
Third base. That's a tough one, man. I'm trying to think. Man, at third base, dude, that is a very, very tough question. I'll put Ace Reese there right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shortstop.
Ooh, Jordan Westberg.
All
I'll
right.
tell you what. I take back. Third base, I'll put Justin Foscue. I'll let him play third. I like his bat. Yep.
Right field.
Me.
Center field.
Rowdy.
Left field.
Renfro.
Who you got at DH?
Ooh, Will Clark. What do you mean?
All right. Who you got at catcher?
Dustin Skelton.
All right. And who's going to be your guy to start it off? I know who you're going to pick to close it out.
All right, starter, I'm going Connor Pilkington.
All right. And why are you going to go with Connor?
Connor Pilkington is a good friend of mine, and let me tell you what, Bubs, that guy, the year before I got to Mississippi State, I've never seen a pitcher rode so hard. And the year, his last year at Mississippi State, I've never seen a pitcher rode so hard, but he answered the call every single time.
Yeah. Who's your setup man before we get to Landon Sims?
Setup guy? That's tough. Setup guy, man. JP France.
Nice.
That's who I'm going with.
And then, of course, I'm sure you're going to go with Landon
Landon's
Sims.
closing it. Landon
Yeah.
is closing the door.
And who could compete with y'all?
Not a lot of teams, Bubs.
Wow. Tanner.
I can't believe, everybody's like, well, you didn't put Jake in center? I'm like, man, I love Rowdy, though, man. I won it with Rowdy. I got to have Rowdy.
It's your team.
I know it's my team. And Jake's on that team somewhere. I promise you. I might put Jake starting pitcher since he did start a pitching a few games. You know what I mean?
So, Tanner, look, man, we have thoroughly enjoyed this interview with you. We have gone an hour and a half. It has been a blast. The floor is all yours for anything else that you would like to say.
Man, hey, first, look, guys, thank y'all for letting me come on. I had a blast. I can tell stories all night. But I just think, one thing we got to think about as a fan base and as a university, whoever our next coach is, we got to get behind him and support him.
Amen.
And I don't care if we brought Auger Garrido back to coach us. If we don't have any money, we're not going to win in and keep any players. So we gotta find a way how we can raise some funds to support this baseball program, because it is the most sacred program in all of college baseball, and it needs to be taken care of, and it needs to be a top priority. So that's what's been on my mind lately. We got to figure out the guy who's going to lead it, and we got to find a way to support it.
And Tanner, if you would, let our listeners know where they can follow you and keep up with you on social media.
Yeah, man, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Tanner Allen, and then Twitter is Tanner Allen _10. And I'm about to crank up my TikTok. I got some cool stuff going on, man. I'm about to start my own baseball academy. A lot of it's going to be online, but it will be in person a lot as well. It'll be probably based out of Madison, Mississippi. So I'm working on developing players to be like me when I played college baseball. So I'm going to give them everything I got. So that's what I got, man.
Well, Tanner, if you need any help promoting that, let us know and we'll get you right back on the show.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank y'all so much, man.
Hey, Tanner, I forgot to ask this, and it's a fun question, and I want to see the smile on your face when you explain it. But when you do get that call, when you get drafted, what's that phone call like? What's that day like?
I was fishing in the Gulf of Mexico. Thank God I had service. And my agent called me and said, "Hey, the Marlins are taking your next pick." And I started smiling like, it's happening. We're doing it. And I was with my best friends, man. My best friends from high school, both of them. Be able to share that moment. That was really cool.
That is very cool.
So, Tanner, look, man, be good. Have a wonderful rest of your spring. I will leave you with this. Hell State, let's go to Omaha, baby. And we will
He
do
said
it again soon, my friend.
Let's do it. Yes, sir, guys. Thank y'all so much, man. Hell
Tanner,
State.
thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Dude, that was awesome.
You know, TA, he will go down as a legend at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And, he put that team on his back and carried them to Omaha and carried them to the national championship game and won it all.
Yeah.
And Tanner's the only one that's been able to pull that one off. There's been a lot of guys that's carried this team, but they ran out of gas. They fell just short. They ran into bad luck, whatever it might be. And Tanner ran into bad luck on some other teams. He mentioned the 2019 team would have beat the 2021 team 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And he's been part of some great teams. But people don't remember the teams that got close. They remember the guys that did it all.
Right.
And he did it. And so, TA, I'm sure all Mississippi State fans want to thank you and shake your hand and just glad that you pulled them through. But you know what? His heart showed in this interview. You saw his character, you saw his personality, you saw his heart, you felt his vibe. Stephen, he loves the game of baseball. He loves Mississippi State, but he's going to shoot you straight. And I think that's the adoring factor of Tanner Allen. That's the kind of guy that, you want your kid to idolize. You want your daughter to date. You want that guy to work with you. You want that guy to work for you. You want to work for that guy if he's your boss. He's that kind of guy. And you know what? It's hard to find those people. When you do, they're special. And I think that's what Mississippi State's missing right now is that special leadership quality.
And Heath, you mentioned he was a legend at Mississippi State. He's going to go down as a legendary interview on the Stingray Show as well.
We'll put that at the top of the resume, right?
So that is going to put a wrap on the Tanner Allen interview. Hope you guys have enjoyed it the past 2 evenings right here on the Stingray Show.